Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Andi Hijrah Yalfani Alfi, and my partner,
Muhammad Anugrah Ilahi.
we are from Group 2. Today, we would like to present our analysis of the poem Tomorrow is a Long Time, written by Bob Dylan. In this presentation, we will examine the poem by focusing on several important elements of poetry that were discussed in our lecture class. These elements include the speaker, subject, theme, imagery, symbolism, sound devices, rhyme, rhythm, and also figurative language. By examining these elements, we aim to understand how the poem communicates the emotional experience of the speaker and how various poetic techniques are used to create a meaning within the text. Before discussing the poem itself, it is also important to briefly introduce the author. Bob Dylan is a widely known as a songwriter and poet, and but also as a poet whose song lyric often contains strong literary qualities. Many of his work are recognized for their poetic language and strong literary context, since they demonstrate how song lyric can function similarly to poetry. His work frequently explores themes such as love, longing, social issues, and human experiences. Therefore, even though Tomorrow is a long time was originally can be a song lyric, it can still be analyzed as a poem because it contains many poetic elements that allow for deeper literary interpretation. Now we're moving to the next slide. The speaker. Uh, as we can see on the screen, the first element we will discuss is the speaker. In poetry, the speaker refers to the voice that expresses thought, emotion, experiences within the poem. The, it is important to note that the speaker is not necessarily the poet himself, but rather a voice or persona created within the poem to convey certain feelings or ideas. As you can see in the line on the screen, in the line, if tomorrow wasn't such a long time, the speaker expresses the feeling that time moves very slowly. This suggests that the speaker is experiencing emotional longing and possibly separation from someone he deeply cares about. This feeling of fading and emotional distance become one of the central emotional experiences expressed throughout the poem. We're moving to the next slide that will be explained by my partner Anugrah.
Okay, the next element we will discuss is the subject and theme of the poem. The subject refers to the main topic or situation being described in the poem. In this case, the subject revolves around the speaker longing for someone who is not physically present with him. Meanwhile, the theme represent the deeper meaning or central idea conveyed by the poem. As we read the poem more carefully, we can see the speaker repeatedly reflects on time, waiting, and emotional distance. This suggests that the poem explores themes of love, loneliness, and the emotional experience of being separated from someone important. Throughout these themes, the poem highlights how emotional attachment can influence a person's perception of time and distance.
Now we're moving to the next slide,
Like
imagery.
the next slide, imagery refers to the descriptive language that appeals to the reader's sense, allow us to image visual, auditory, or sensory experience. One example appears in the process Silver Singing River. The word silver create a visual image or singing water, while the word singing suggests the sound of flowing water. Together, this word create a vivid picture of peaceful natural landscape. Another example appears in the process sunrise in the sky, which is creates the image of calm and beautiful morning sky. Interestingly, although the poem presents peaceful natural image, the speaker still experiences loneliness and longing. This contrast between the beauty of nature and the speaker emotional state help emphasizes the depth of the speaker feelings.
We're moving to the next slide, symbolism. As we can see on the screen, symbolism refers to object, images, or expression that represent deeper meaning beyond their literal sense. One important example that we can see on the screen, if today was not an easy highway. At the literal level, a highway is simply a wrong road. However, symbolically, it can represent a long emotional journey. In this context, the endless highway suggests that the speaker experiences time as something long and exhausting while he is separated from someone he loves. Next slide will be explained by my partner, Anupra.
Okay. Sound devices are used in poetry to create musical effect and enhance the rhythm of the language. One example is alliteration, which appears in the prasa Silver Singing River. The repetition of the S and sounds create a soft and following sound that resembles the movement of water. Another sound device is assonance, which refers to the repetition of vowel sounds. For example, the words long and tomorrow contain similar vowel sound that contribute the musical quality of the poem. Beside our analysis, consonants does not appear of prominently in this poem compared to an alliteration and and assonance. This indicates that the poet relies more on vowel sound and initial consonants repetition to create a sound patterns.
Now we're moving to rhyme and rhythm. We can see on the screen that rhyme refers to the repetition of similar sound usually at the end of the line. In this poem, we can find several examples of rhyme, such as the word time, rhyme, day, as well as day and state. This rhyme creates a sense of musicality and reinforces the quality of the poem. In additional to rhyme, the poem also demonstrates the rhythm through patterns of stressed and unstressed syllables. For example, in the line, uh, if tomorrow wasn't such a long time, when this line is read aloud, certain syllables naturally recite for more emphasis. We can read, if tomorrow wasn't such a long time. This stress pattern creates a rhythmic flow that makes the poem as a musical composition. Now we're moving to the figurative language.
Okay. Figurative language allows poets to express in the imaginative ways. One example of metaphor appears in the prose an endless highway where is compared to a long road. Another example is personification in the prose Silver Singing River, where the river is described as if they were capable of singing. The poem also uses hyper, hyperbole, which is a form of exaggeration. For example, in the line, if tomorrow wasn't such a long time, the speaker exaggerates how long waiting feels emotionally. Beside on our
And based
analysis.
on our analysis, but we didn't find a clear example of simile in the poem. And the last conclusion we can see on the screen, and uh, we would like to uh, express our sincere gratitude to our lecturer, Sadari Bala, for giving us the opportunity to analyze this poem and deepen our understanding of poetry. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.